screens.
Wow.
And they're trying to fool around with the mouse pad, and it's like, ah,
I can touch it.
touch the screen.
That's what I just did. I was like messing with it. I'm like, why am I doing that? Here she is. Miss Julia. Hey, baby. Good. How are you?
Carrying two phones, too.
Well, I don't need the second one, just I carry out a habit. This one is just my kids like to. Actually, Jean's home tonight. Usually she's not home.
I got rid of my personal
Did you get your
phone,
windows
'cause I
out?
got
No.
my AT&T company phone, and I got the government phone for one contract I'm on, and a government phone for another contract I'm on.
Oh, wow.
So I'm carrying three phones all the time.
Wow.
I'm not gonna have a personal phone.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I know.
What's up, stranger? What's going on?
Oh, well, thanks. We gotta get started. Yes. Roll call, please.
Edwards,
Here?
Carrera Rocha,
Here.
Person,
Here.
Schneider,
Here?
Corral.
Here.
Okay. We'll start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next agenda item is citizens' time. Any concerned citizens who want to approach ARB and comment? We're good? No one from a list and no volunteers. Okay. Okay. So we'll move on to the minute approvals. We got 2 months' worth.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the Architectural Review Board meetings from August 21st, 2019 and September 18th, 2019.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second. Up for discussion. Anybody find any changes they want to make in these? Like I'm good to my right, how about to my left? We good? Okay, we'll put it up for a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Off to our next agenda item line, which is the COAs. We'll start off with a solar panel application for Jockey Club Lane.
Okay, this is our third solar panel application. We've had a lot this year. This one is on Jockey Club Lane, 6958. It is back in the cul-de-sac. It is for the installation of 28 roof-mounted solar panels. And one thing that is different on this application than the others we've seen in the past, a majority of the solar panels will be on the front of the roof line, and then just a few on the back. So I believe of the 28, 6 are on the rear, the rest are in the front. So the applicant I do not see here tonight, but I would like to go ahead and move this one application along for them.
Okay. I guess any comments you would like to highlight from the HOA?
So it will be conditional on the HOA approval. I have not seen that one come through yet. However, I do believe their meeting falls after ours this month, so One thing I just wanted to bring to your attention is this one is one that you will see it from the front as you drive down the cul-de-sac. This cul-de-sac is still tucked in the back of the neighborhood, so, you know, I would say use your discretion during your discussion of how it affects, you know, the public view. They did provide the images here, and I do believe we were able to get you guys a color copy tonight, so you can see kind of if there's any reflectivity on the panels. They look like a slimmer model than previous models that have been submitted or proposed. If there are specific questions for the applicant, I am happy to table the
Is
application.
this the same company that's
It
doing the
is
other ones, right?
Correct, it
Okay.
is the same company.
I
Do we
make
know
a,
what, I'm sorry.
no, go.
Do we know what the color of their tiles are? Or do we know if they're black or
Black.
they're black as well?
Correct. I make a motion to approve zoning permit application 2019-030 for 6958 Jockey Club Lane with the condition that HOA approval is acquired.
Second?
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions before we move on?
Just the current, the asphalt shingles that are out there today, they're generally compatible with the color of the.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would agree that this is not along our historic corridors. It is within a planned unit development. It's to the rear of the property. If I understand it, just as a suggestion in the future, it would be helpful to have some snapshots of the residents in question. Given its location in this context, I feel it's appropriate. So if I do understand Emily correctly, that there is it FCC or some other sort of mandate that says we have to approve, but we can still look at color, context, location, those types of things?
Correct.
Okay. That's all my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, he's my next door neighbor.
Mhm.
Do I need to abstain for?
I don't think it's necessary.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, it's not, I guess, to benefit you in a sense, so you should be good. Okay, then we'll put this all up for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Move on to the next agenda item.
So this evening, we have Mr. Russo here with St. Paul's Episcopal Church to talk to you guys about their front doors. He wanted to just have kind of open discussion before they put in an application, because they will have to do some repair work over the church. And I do believe he has a prop to pass around, so you guys can get an idea of the historic look of the church.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sean Rousseau, it's good to be here with you again. I don't know how many of you know the history of St. Paul's. 1801 is when it was built as a district courthouse. For 7 or 8 years, that's what it was. Then it became a school, then a school church mixed use in the 18-teens, like maybe 1813. It wasn't until 1834 that they finally got a bishop to the property to consecrate the church, and that's when they started the cemetery. I'm going to pass around this picture to show you what the church looked like before it was a church, because I think it's part of our conversation. The church looked very different when it was built. We believe between 1813 and 1834, the church went through a lot of transformation when it moved from being a district courthouse to being a church. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Dan Tierno, right here in the front row, is here from St. Paul's. He's our senior warden on our vestry. So thanks, Dan. During that time, a lot of what you see changed. That little tower, more towards the middle of the roof, was removed, and a really large bell tower was constructed on the front corner of the roof. All the windows that were there, that were house-like windows, went away, and stained glass came into the church. Tiffany stained glass on the back part of the church, which you can't see from the street. What else happened? There was a room on the back of the church that was added, which is part of the sanctuary, where the altar is. Another room was added on the side, which was originally called the vestry room, and then around 1900 they put a pipe organ in there, which doesn't work anymore. So we're talking about what to do about that down the road. And then along the front, that open colonnade, which is mimicked in the courthouses right now in Fairfax and in Prince William,
Was in the historic part of the
Still
Fairfax
there.
courthouse, still
Still
there.
part of this, no longer exists on our building. Those were filled in. A very large front door was put in the middle, and it became, instead of an open porch with a slate floor, an enclosed porch with a brick floor. And a bathroom was added up there in the front. All kinds of things have happened to this building. One of the original folding chairs that was in the church, we have on long-term loan to the town museum, a really small wooden folding chair. So the pews went in too. All the churchy things happened, after it was a courthouse. The vestry at St. Paul's has been considering our protocol and developing that for sickness, safety, and security. And one of the things we did was to join Worship Watch with the Prince William County Police Department. And so we had several members of our congregation, our senior warden, the chairperson of a new Worship Watch committee, and myself. We all went to the program that the police put on and learned a lot. And from that, we launched our committee. And so our committee's been considering how to implement that protocol and what changes might have to happen along the way to our physical structures in order to keep everyone safe. And that's a very real thing to deal with in today's world, unfortunately. Along the way, we conducted a safety and security assessment with Prince William County. The police officer is assigned to Haymarket, and she brought along another officer too. They gave that to us. The committee has looked at it, and they've made a few recommendations to the vestry. One of those, which we're not bringing to you today, is the gardening from the rectory. Those big old boxwood bushes are too big. Everything's supposed to be 3 feet or lower, so we're going to relocate those and redo the gardening. Another one, which we will have to come back to you for at a later time, is to improve the lighting around the church, the front, the back, the far side, which we came to once before for adding lighting in the parking lot and match the lights in the town. But the third one, which is why I'm here, has to do with the front door. Now, the front door is not original. We don't know exactly when it was installed, sometime by 1834. We know that the inner doors were the front door. The front door is a challenge to maintain. It's very old, it's warped. We even use push bars to keep it locked because the lock no longer works on the door. And because it's such an old lock, we can't replace it with a new lock because of where it's positioned and a lot of challenges. We also can't see through the door. And so the doors open inside too instead of outside. So what we've started talking about is what to do to make the front entrance of our church more safe, more secure, but also more welcoming. Because when you approach the church, you don't really know if anything's going on because you can't see in the door. You have to go up there and try the door. So we haven't arrived at any conclusions. We haven't invited any contractors or companies to do any work. But what we are considering, what I want to get your opinion on, is what to do with those front doors. The way we look at it is we have a couple options. One not so desirable, the other one more desirable. One is to build a canopy over the front entrance with doors further down on the patio, which we also came to you for approval for a couple of years ago. That's not so desirable because it would eat up a lot of our patio space, which we specifically built to create a greeting area and a gathering area for before and after services. But we could do that. We could build some sort of a canopy that covers the front steps and has doors that push out the bottom. The other idea is to replace those doors with doors right where they are, in the arch of the open doorway. To use a combination of metal, maybe metal that looks like wood, to use a combination of stained glass and tempered glass. We don't have any ideas on design or what would be in the stained glass or what would be etched onto the doors, if anything. But just trying to find out from you what kind of materials are possible, what kind of options are possible. It is one of the second oldest building in the town. Although when I was looking at the COA information earlier, I noticed the church is no longer on the list of historic buildings in the town. All of our other buildings are, but the church isn't, so that was interesting. I don't know when that changed. There's only one other building older than it in the town. And we do have county, state, and federal historic designations.
Don't worry, we're updating that.
Thank you,
You'll be back.
thank you.
Sorry you got left off.
That's okay. So I know it's probably a COA, but before we go and spend a lot of time hiring someone and making plans and fundraising, thought it'd be good to come and talk to you because it is one of the oldest buildings in town and one of only a couple churches and has been around for a long time.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would say because you have those historic designations, that it's probably important to reach out to those bodies to make sure that whatever you do doesn't affect your standing with your historic, if that matters to you. I mean, I assume it does. I don't
matters.
know. I mean, it would matter to me, but, but they would definitely have guidelines as to what kind of changes you can make and the materials as far as that goes. We have approved stained glass. School of Rock put stained glass in the side lights of their building, so that's not something that we're
Okay,
adverse to.
sure.
But that would be my guidance for you. I mean, I get that the maintaining of those wooden doors is just,
It's impossible.
yeah.
That's really a challenge. And the nice thing about moving on is we, as far as safety and security, we could have an usher at the door. They can open the door when someone's approaching, when services have begun, otherwise they can be locked. So that if someone is approaching that looks like they have the wrong intention, then
Correct.
the usher can walk away, call 911, inform everyone what's going on.
Yeah.
We wouldn't throw away those doors on the front. We plan to repurpose them inside the church with that space where that old pipe organ is. When that's removed, that would be worked into the wall. That would
nice.
fill in that archway up in the sanctuary, so they'd still be present, maybe
Right.
fixed in place. We've had before we've done any work on the church at all, including the shutters, when we took care of the shutters on the steeple a few years ago, I had a couple members of the Prince William County Historic Society, the official, I can't remember their names, they were down in Woodbridge. They came out and basically their advice to us was we would have to so significantly change
Yes.
the exterior of the building to lose those designations that small things wouldn't
Right.
be, we'd have to blast 12 new, windows into the thing.
Right.
Do something really significant. So I would definitely, that's a good idea. I'll reach out to them and make certain that that's
Right.
okay.
And so, I know there's like a percentage and
Yes.
all kinds of, yeah.
And what ideas have you tossed around? Do you plan on replacing the doors as doors, or did you want to modify that entryway and put some type of transom on
Sure.
it? Or?
Good question. Part of the challenge is the doors are so large.
Yeah.
They're about 9 feet wide, 15, 16 feet high, and they bow because of the change in the temperature, the weather, the sun, everything hitting them all the time. So we've talked about having a transom in the arch part that would be stained glass or something that would match the colors of what's already in the church with the other stained glass, which is Tiffany. And then have the doors below that, just more normal size doors. We'd have to have two, to be able to get caskets and things like that in and out and have processions for
Big
weddings.
wedding dresses.
Weddings, things like that, yeah. So that's what we were thinking, was a transom and two doors. Maybe there's side lights, we don't know, it depends on the size of the
size, you
doors.
mean. Yeah, and I'm assuming you can kind of have it like a faux door where you actually have, like your 7.5 foot, and the other piece just stays there, and of course they'll come in and out.
It would solve a lot of problems for us just practically as far as maintenance,
Yeah.
as far as locking and unlocking, as far as the security system, which really goes through fits with the weather with those wood doors.
With the winds that come, yeah.
The wind and just the doors bending and moving with the humidity and the heat and the cold. So
John, so I was playing on the computer, trying to find an image of it, and we found it. So it's like a bevel glass. I noticed the glass on either side of the doors, kind of a hatchwork glass, kind of a clear stained glass. Do I have that, am I seeing the picture correctly?
No, it's right there, what Ayush has there.
No.
Just the
I'm saying-
door, but he's talking about
On
the
either
windows
side,
on the
the
side.
windows, they have a,
Okay.
so I'm thinking for the transom, if something material, similar material to that may work. Looking
Yeah.
at the doors are iconic. I have my children, when they went to school there, and all their graduation pictures were taken in front of it. Has the nice brass kick plate, has the inlaid panels in it. So, but I think we also recognize that, as you can clearly see from these pictures, where they filled in the previous arches, so it is a building that has been adaptively reused over time. So something that's context sensitive, that tries to borrow some of the elements, but it's more utilitarian. I think that's the right way to go. I share Susan's remarks about your designations, and you want to make sure you don't do something inadvertently that affects those, especially the, is it National Historic Trust? There's a criteria of things that you have to maintain or be improvements that are indicative of the period. So a transom, I would think, is a good alternative. A wood door or something that gives some relief, so it's not just a large door. It has that.
They make metal doors that look like wood doors.
Exactly. Much lighter, I think more efficient. You can probably, is the vestibule air conditioned? I can't remember. Is it?
It is,
Okay.
yep. heating and air
So something that's more energy efficient. I have heard about hardscaping of, not hardscaping, but the security now. Unfortunately, a lot of churches are having to look at security measures, unfortunately. So I would think you would want an option that's a more secure door that's not as easy to get through, unfortunately. So I appreciate the effort that you're putting into it. I think that's the right way to go.
And that's one of the first things you see when you go look at these companies that make doors for churches. You know, they promote how safe they are as far as not being able to be broken into or so easy.
Well, just world events and having to harden religious facilities, and it's certainly something I take seriously, so. That's my feedback.
That good guidance? I mean,
No, thank you. It was great. I appreciate it.
Mr. Rousseau, do you have something that your members have really in mind?
No, we haven't taken it that far on purpose because we didn't want to start making plans and get buy-in and emotional attachment to something, and we show up and you say something completely different, you know. So, for instance, when we completely renovated the bell tower a few years ago, in fact, in that picture, I think that picture doesn't have those shutters. I have a different picture on the wall in church. Those shutters that were there originally were wood, and when we came, we asked to use a composite material, but have them be the same color, shape, size, appearance, and that's what we did, and we had approval for that. And you can't tell the difference except they're
You
never
can't.
going to rot.
Ken and I were on the ARB when that came
Okay,
through,
great.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have the shutter in the,
Museum.
Museum.
Museum, that's right, we gave you a shutter. So we've had other issues like that, where we've used vinyl instead of wood, or with windows in the carried a full-term
Right.
house. Kept that
The
middle
look, right.
look, the same look.
I think it's interesting, you are in a unique position where it seems like you have the finances and the ability, the financial resources with which to do it. So if this means further preservation and maintenance of that structure, then I think we should support it. So,
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next item, sign application.
Yes. So we are looking at page 35. This is for signs for the old bank building and the old bank building parking lot. A tenant has recently moved into the first floor, and there's been an abundance of customers, thus a little more need for better signage over there. So the property owner is here tonight to address the board about her proposal, and you will see pictures starting on page 41, 42, and 43, and continuing.
And like the, is it okay to ask questions now? or you wanna
Yeah,
wait for-
go ahead.
So sign 1, the 18 by 12, no parking, that's to be affixed to the rear.
Correct. That'll be.
There might be several of them.
Oh, hey, Ms. Katrucci.
Good evening.
Several on the rear?
Yeah, I have a problem with the tennis parking back there. So
Okay.
we're going to make it evident that they should not be parking back there, but where they can park.
Okay. That's a 0 lot line back there, that's part of
Yes,
the
it
problem? Okay. And then the parking number 2 sign, you wanted to put it in the landscape trip in front. Is, how did you want to mount that? Is it on the building, or is it going to be?
No, I don't want it on the building. I don't want any more signage on the building. But what we're thinking about is just a low sign along the front, clearly seen right next to the sidewalk, probably on wooden posts. I haven't really, it won't be visible how it's mounted.
But basically in front of the hedgerow?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, in front of the hedgerow there, so it's kind of low on wood posts that would, if they're painted at all, they would match the color of the
Right,
sign?
right.
Okay. And that's a wooden sign?
Well, right now, I went to where I could get some proofs as fast as I could to show you. So this is actually an aluminum sign. I'm open if you want to make a suggestion on the material. I need something, because it's going to be low, I would prefer something, probably wouldn't be wood, but it could be some sort of composite, because I'd be worried about rot.
Yeah,
The maintenance of that sort of
that
stuff.
makes sense. I mean, and the color would match the colors of the building, just like you have in the.
Right, we use the maroon, which is the highlight, and this is kind of a khaki. It's a little lighter than what's on the building, but we get as close as we could.
Close, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then the one that's affixed to the parking, I guess the screening feature under parking lot,
Right, it's a brick wall there.
okay. Would you need, I drove by today, there was some landscaping out there, would you need to
It's
obviously
going to be
remove that?
trimmed back.
Okay.
We actually took some of the overgrown landscaping out on the other side.
Okay.
Because it hadn't been trimmed and there was just no way to, I'm going to be replacing that, but I'm also investigating putting some parking lot lighting. Once I get Dominion
Perfect.
to agree with me, I will be back in here on how to get the lighting over there.
I did notice driving here, it was really dark
It
back
is
there.
dark, and
Yeah.
it's just a matter of how I get power to it, that's all.
And I think that probably once Dr. Moon gets in the bank and that has the lighting turned on, I think that will help you
Yeah, it will.
as well.
Yeah. But we're going to get some lighting back there. Like I say, it's a matter of getting power to it, which Dominion's working on.
So the salon sign that says salon parking this way, that's going to come down, Emily?
Yes.
Yes,
yes.
okay.
That was a surprise to me, as it
As
was a
it-
surprise to everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
But, I mean, no,
I mean, I
understand
get
the
it.
need for it.
Absolutely.
But my only solution is to put something up that everybody approves.
Right, right.
And so the sign that's being affixed to the brick structure, that's similar, either metal or wood composite?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm open to suggestions on that.
okay,
But it is going to be affixed to a brick wall, so,
okay.
again, brick retains moisture, so you need something that's not going to rot.
Understood.
You're going to say something, Emily?
I was. Have you given thought to just replacing the sign that she popped up there with this one so that you could see it coming both ways on Washington Street and that it wouldn't be as far back affixed on the brick?
That would, I mean,
It would kind of, I don't know how the board feels about that, but
yeah, it would be up to what you wanted to suggest. I wouldn't, I didn't like the sign that was put up there. And I didn't like that it was put up there and I didn't know anything about it.
right.
So
Yeah.
I could think about it, but the colors aren't right, the typeface is not right, and it's the old bank parking lot.
Yes.
Yes.
But if that's deemed desirable, I certainly am willing to consider that.
Well, I don't know that it's desirable. I just think visually, you'll probably more people would see it out there, but
You're right, that's why in my mind, putting signage on the building itself that directs where it is,
Well, there you go.
is probably, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's your property. It's what you,
When the sign went up, I'd assumed it had been approved at last month's ARB meeting that I wasn't at. So, but I think,
some
but,
signage was, but
but-
not that sign.
but if, maybe it's the salon moving in, but that parking lot's full all the time now. So, it's, I think it has some, if there's ability to reuse that, I
It's
would,
worked.
it's
There's
worked.
no doubt it's worked.
So, some amendments that meet your specifications, and I think that are maybe a little more muted, I think reuse of that sign would be fine. I think would be better visibility and get people into the lot. And then you wouldn't have to attach something to the brick wall.
Well, that will certainly make Ashley happy. I can tell you that.
What will make you happy?
No, I'm fine with it. Like I said, I've grown more accustomed to it. It's a little
Yeah.
bit more of the shock.
I would agree, old bank building would probably be the better identifier.
And I would definitely say, use what you have as sign 3 in your color, your style,
Right.
old bank building, parking lot. I just thought maybe if you see it there, no matter which way you're going,
Again, yes.
but you are the property owner.
Well, but I'm also open to suggestions.
We
So,
want you to be happy
okay.
long-term,
All right,
not
well,
just
let's amend
short-term.
this then to say that what we would do would be to take this design and put it where the illegal line.
We didn't want it to use that word.
Are you going to keep sign 2 then, or would you just eliminate
Yeah, I
sign 2?
think so. I mean, I just think that people who come and they're looking for an address and everything, they may not look that way and that
Right,
way,
right.
Yeah, I think it's helpful.
Okay.
And for people walking down the sidewalk as well, then they'll see, oh, this salon is here, and then they'll see the sign that says, oh, but if I drive, I can park over here, yeah.
So if you do keep that sign out front where Ashley's is and change it, or Ash or whatever it was called, are you going to put, are you going to mimic the sign 2 as well and put the arrow to point into the parking area, or you just want to
No,
keep it up?
I think
Okay.
if it's right in front of a parking lot,
Yeah.
I would hope somebody could figure that out.
You would think.
They got a driver's license. Let's hope they can figure that out.
You're assuming a lot of people. I would agree, a unified color scheme, colors so that it's wayfinding, and you know that if I'm on the building, I see my parking sign, and I look down and I
Yeah.
see it matching,
Yeah.
and that some consistency amongst it makes sense. Ms. Catrucci, do you know if that sign placement, is it affecting any sight distances coming out of the lot or not? Do you need to move it back? I mean, that's your
It's a good
discretion.
question.
So
It's a good question.
I would have,
We will check that.
Yeah.
We will check that. It's a good point.
point is, I guess, I wouldn't have any issue if you wanted to move it further back, if you needed to move it further back.
It's a good point.
Mr. Chairman, the other sign too, was there any preference to whether or not it's metal or a material similar to what the ash sign's made out of for the low one in the hedge?
I'd assume that the same materials would be best for it.
Okay.
I just have an aversion to metal signs, so that's.
Well, I think the ash one is not a metal sign, I think that one's.
No,
yeah.
but I get your point, though, something composite, something
Yeah.
that's not.
Yeah. I mean, wood
Something
is-
that's weather resistant.
Yeah.
Just having the discussion you just heard, I have full sympathy. In fact, I'm kind of sorry it's dark. I wanted to rush down immediately and look at the church because I was so intrigued with the discussion. But
Yeah.
It's a beautiful door, but it's huge. You know it's going to warp and, oh, yeah, a lot of maintenance on that.
I think also putting it out there, you're not having to trim your hedges as much if that sign's not on the brick. You're not out there all the time trying to tame it back. So, and then in terms of the ones on the back,
The no parking?
I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
Have
but-
a number that you, like, how many that
I
you would?
think two.
Okay.
I was looking at that earlier today, and I think two would probably. And I
Get the
know,
point across.
Yeah, that's all I can say. No matter how many times I bring it up, it's just been a problem. It's
Okay.
understandable.
Yeah.
Try to make a motion?
Yeah.
Sure, do you have any other questions of us? Any clarifications you need from us?
Well, I will want to find out what the material is that, I mean, mean, I know I can go look at the existing sign, but if we're gonna use that for this low sign in the front, I wanna make sure I know exactly what that is.
I think how we've handled that before is we give Emily the discretion to work with you to match it, and she can represent our expectations from that, so, okay, we find that.
I will say in a full disclosure, since it was not applied for that sign, I would have to ask the person who put it up what it was made out of. Because
I'll do that.
Because I
Right.
myself
That's
don't
fine.
know,
I'll do that.
so,
Or something
Yeah.
with similar
yeah,
look or
a
something, you know what I
composite
mean?
material.
And hopefully you can reuse it. If it's a wood sign, though, I'm sure you'll probably want to change the material.
We'll work that.
Some begging for forgiveness in that one, so. Asking for a question. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and take a step. Emily, do you have anything else? Okay. Okay, I move that, oh, you have this motion in there, don't you? I apologize.
Way at the back.
I move that the Architectural Review Board approve zoning permit 2019-032 for 3 signs at the old bank building, conditioned so that the sign 3 will be a similar, or will be the freestanding sign, and that Emily will coordinate with the applicant to find those materials. Once those materials are determined, sign 2 will match the materials of that sign and the color scheme. And then the wall sign, sign number 1, a maximum of 2, at the applicant's discretion for placement, and the metal material is fine. So,
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any questions before we vote? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next applicant is the Shops at Haymarket. They're applying for a monument sign, so I know some of you were on the board a couple months back when we spoke with them previously about a monument sign and gave them some ideas. We talked about the size as well, so they're here tonight with the proposed sign on, give me 1 second. Page 56. There is one small detail that I will work out with them, which is just a sizing issue. We'll just have to bring it in just a little bit to meet the zoning ordinance size requirements. But otherwise, I don't have any other concerns with it.
So
Go ahead.
is the brick coming out?
So if you look in, are you at page 56?
Yep.
In the bottom corner, the Food Lion brick
Yep.
portion? Correct me if
Yes,
I'm wrong,
that
the
will
whole
all be,
portion
that'll all be, come out where it's standing on.
All the
Everything-
brick and everything's
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
out? So you're not going to use that as a base for this
No,
sign?
we're
Okay.
gonna, put the other sign in the ground and then put landscaping around it. The new sign.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to reuse it, or?
Just with, you know,
What's
the
that?
bricks falling apart.
Oh, it's
and where they
maintenance
took the old-
issue?
Yeah, where they
Okay.
took the Food Line sign out, it's cracked.
Okay.
And so we figured we'd just get rid of it and start out new.
So what were you saying about the size, Emily? To me, it looks,
Just to meet the square footage requirements.
Yes.
For the zoning ordinance.
Mhm.
I think it comes in maybe like 1 square foot over our maximum allowable square footage.
it just looks really tall to me.
And
Or 30
my
inches.
concern on that, it was actually that you have a stop sign there
Yeah.
and
Are
moving
you not going to be
cars.
able to see?
Yes.
Like the sight line to get out?
Yeah, it's gonna be behind the stop sign, out of, where you won't be able to see it, and it's 10.5 tall and 6 wide. And I was under the understanding that that's above ground, and then if it goes in the ground, you know, that's,
But you see what I'm saying? If you pull up to the stop sign, the stop sign's here. I know it's
Yes.
behind it, but is it going to block your view to see the traffic?
no, because see the white line right there we have in the picture?
Yeah.
That's
Stop bar?
above, yeah, that's above the sign.
Yeah.
Stop bars right here, so maybe.
Plus, most people are taking a right turn in that area. And the left turn has its own lane, so shouldn't really be blocking, I don't think.
Susan, I would agree if there's a way to move it back a little bit more, so that's not as,
I mean, if they're in compliance and it doesn't,
Yeah.
it just looks really tall to me, and I guess it's just because used to the shorter sign there, I
Right.
don't know, but.
Yes, ma'am.
We're trying to mimic the other signs, you know, in town. So look at this one,
Mhm.
because when we were here last, we had this one on.
Is that height fine?
So the height of the sign above ground is 10.875 feet, and the maximum height allowed is 10. So we do have to bring the height of it down just a little bit.
Okay.
What material are the posts?
They'll be metal.
Okay. Black? in
Yeah,
color?
and then we will have it painted black, and we'll have acrylic tinted panels inserted, and then painted divided bars where the tenant signs are.
So each
That'll
tenant
be
will be like a
black, too.
panel, each tenant will be like a panel that's affixed, and you just change it out as the things
Yes.
change? Okay.
Mhm. And then on the top, we have shops at Haymarket. As you know, Food Lion's not here, so whenever we get a hub store in there, we'll change that.
To the anchor store?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then I saw the electrical junction box. Do you have a need, do you have an interest in doing lighting on it?
Yes,
now?
we do. We're
Okay.
going to have it illuminated, and we'll have the electrician use the correct electrical box, and if we need to get a new one, we will.
Okay.
Do we do it? We don't allow interior lit, it has to come from, and I-1,
Oh, so it's going to be backlit?
that's what there's,
It's gonna
interior
be
lit. That's what
Interior
they're-
illuminated with LED lighting. That's what we want.
For freestanding ones, they're correct for I-1.
Is that,
Yeah, and that's how Sheets is. I think I put a picture of the Sheets sign in the back,
Yeah.
just if y'all had any questions.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're gonna have a light board. You're gonna put the lines on the light board and then affix the individual tenant
Yes.
signs. Okay.
And Sign Graphics in Manassas is building the sign for us.
Okay.
And there'll be 14 panels per side, 28 total. It's a two-sided sign.
Forget how many tenants are in there.
I am just concerned because I do go through there a lot. I cannot visualize right now, it's just me. I think that the photo, when it was taken for the future sign, it does shows that it's a little bit farther into
You know what
the
you guys
median.
don't like it there? We can put it over on, we've already been approved, and we have you can put it right over on McDonald's side if you don't like it on that side.
No, it's not that I don't like it. The discussion right now, actually, for me, it was, it's gonna come down in height, but the illumination, and when you are driving and you're making a stop, you know, you're gonna receive that
It's
light.
still gonna be lit. That doesn't make no difference. It's not that bright. I mean, it's not like lights like this.
No, I understand.
Now, believe me, it's not gonna be as bright as sheets.
It doesn't illuminate outward, it's just to shine on the sign.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a bright light, you know, it's just to light up the tenants' names.
But it's like a light box, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're having an internally illuminated sign, and then the shadow, the letters will create the shadow, and that's what I'll show the.
I think I like it where it is. I don't think we'd want to move it to the McDonald's side. I think that would be blocking.
And we're going to
Yes.
get rid of the dance studio sign over there that's been up there, on the corner there.
I'm not as worried about the interior illumination as I am. The posts seem very light to me for the size.
Slim?
Slim to me for the size of the sign.
What is?
They don't, the posts.
post.
I mean, I get that they're gonna hold the sign up, I understand that, but, no, I get that, but visually, they look very, it looks very utilitarian as opposed to,
You want to change the color?
no.
The sign right here, down the street, it's the exact same
Same
dimension
color.
post. It's not like a large like block.
It's not
It's a 4x4 post, metal post.
It could just be the way the,
Yeah, that seems big.
Yeah, the
Dimensions
post
of the post is 8 inches by 8 inches?
8 by 8.
Okay. I agree with Ms. Edwards. Looking at this picture, the proportions of it look like it's like a 4x4.
looks like it's being
post.
held up by toothpicks as opposed to, do you see what I'm
So-
saying? It's not that I know that it's gonna fall down,
Right.
but,
Yeah. So that's when we're looking at the picture, it just looks very small.
Okay, it might look like a 4x4, but as Mr. Weaver said, it's an
8 by 8, okay.
Yeah, we
And
wouldn't,
the
we wouldn't want a
posts are
4
both
by
set
4,
in-
that's for sure.
set in, almost 54 inches of concrete. So I don't think, the sturdiness of it does seem.
But see, she just thought it looked that way for the picture.
Yes, I'm not
Yeah,
questioning
right,
the,
yeah. We definitely wouldn't want it, 4 by 4.
Did I catch what you were saying, Susan?
yeah.
Okay, you did.
What about maybe like accents on top? Like the top here? What's it like? Accents on top maybe, to like make it look a little,
Sure, you want.
I mean,
Any interest on the caps?
yeah, the caps.
The caps on the posts?
What
So it looks like this is just a flat cap or any more decorative or?
what they want.
Okay.
Whatever you guys want, I mean, we can put it as the same.
That's gonna be an issue because it's gonna add height to the sign for them, and they need whatever they can get, because they already have to take it down, right?
Oh,
Well, that's what,
yeah,
Yeah,
right now it
that'd
just
be
looks like a
fine.
flat, just looks like a flat black cap.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
I was saying, I think that might be what might be adding to just the utilitarian look of it. If we were to maybe like accent it with a cap, maybe it would look nicer, but it's, goes back to the height issue.
I don't think flat cap won't add any height to it, really. 58 inches, 85 inches lower, so.
No discussion in the cabin?
Go ahead. What's your discussion?
No, I'm just asking.
No, I mean, it was just a thought.
No, I think it's a good thought, but
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
they
it goes
already
back to the
have
height
to,
issue.
they
yeah.
have to take it down already, so. I mean, they might wanna put it up there if you don't count that in their height.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that, does that?
Yeah, if we take it down.
Count as the signage height?
What's the termination there, Emily?
Yeah.
We can, if it's, less than 2 inches, architectural feature, we can kind of waive that.
I mean, it might
If
look
you want
nicer if it
some
had
type
the,
of taper
Where I
or
was coming from.
a taper cap or something? Or
Like a ball?
yeah,
you want to-
A rounded cap?
a rounded
Yeah.
cap.
Most of the signs of this style that have the scallop in the middle that you see around, they have kind of the decorative
Balls.
spheres or balls on top
Right.
of them. So that would add a little bit of character to it.
Yeah, and we did that scallop because that, the
Yeah.
last time we were here, you said you all liked that design.
What I'm reminded of, that all the channel lettering on the building are all backlit white. So this would be kind of match
Yes, yes.
that channel lighting that's already on the building. So there's some consistency there.
Yes. Yep.
So it sounds like the only, Mr. Chairman, it sounds like the only recommendations are the change to the cap.
Yeah, are we going to leave that as an option, or did you want a bollard style, or do you want some type of a tapered, or whatever?
Okay. And then we just want to confirm that, or just make sure that it's the 6x6 posts.
They said 8 by 8.
Or 8x8, 8x8, okay.
Because the board, the board's 9 inches wide, so yeah, that's 8 by 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay?
talk to your sign guy about that.
So change panel, daylight to spheres or balls.
Yeah, spherical caps on the, yeah, that sounds more sophisticated than ball cap, so.
Spheres, caps.
Miss Lockhart is gonna work on the height,
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, and I'll get it to you on that then.
Oh, I see what you're saying, that the side elevation shows a 9-foot dimension, or 8-inch dimension, excuse me.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were.
Well, you were looking at me to make the motion?
Yeah.
I thought we were passing around the responsibilities. Okay,
I'll do the next one.
okay. I move that the ARB approve zoning permit 2019-031 for a freestanding sign at the shops at Haymarket, as described in the attached materials, with the condition that the applicant utilize spherical caps on the posts supporting the sign.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Should we be putting in this also that this cap does not influence the height? Or this cap can be
Does not.
neglected from the
Yes.
height?
Exclusive,
Excluded from the height?
exclusive
Yeah.
from the height limitation.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
So amended.
so amended?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then we'll put up for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Emily, I'll get with you, and we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Good luck finding a hub store. I'm sad that Food Lion left. I was a big patron there.
Well, there's so many people that are sad because it's gone. It was so convenient for a lot of people. And hopefully, we have a lot of prospects, and
Oh, good.
we'll get a good place coming in.
Very sad, but the problem we have is that Food Lion still owns the lease.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
2 years.
So
So Food Lion has to,
sublease.
we can't find somebody to fill the space. Food Lion has to do it.
Mm.
Oh,
So we're
really?
hoping we can work with them, because we have several people who've contacted us, wanting to fill the space, so we're hoping we can get it done.
Well, good luck.
Hoping they'll get it done soon.
Yeah.
Well, the signage should hopefully help in the interim, so.
Yes.
Yeah, our tenants are very
so
happy.
much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you guys have a great day.
Have a happy holiday.
Yeah.
You too.
Okay.
Guess we're on item number 5.
Right.
Yes, yes. Our next applicant is Stronger Fitness. They're located back here in the Copper Cricket Building on the
Okay.
second story. You'll see on page 62 that there are 3 signs that were here. We're only talking about sign number 1. Sign number 2 is an interior sign that's not viewed by the public, so that one is not up to our purview for that. And then sign 3 is a sandwich board that I will administratively take care of approving with the applicant. And it's one that's a temporary sign, so it'll come in and out when she's not open for business. So we're just looking at sign number 1 tonight, and you'll find that on page 63.
Mhm.
It'll be positioned right below Body Mind Studio. It does look bigger because it is bigger. It is still within the sign size requirements, so she's good to go there. The only suggestion I had, if any, was that the board make sure they're okay with the font style and how it relates to our approved fonts. It's very similar to one that we have, so I think that it is something that could be approved by the board if you wish.
I know this is kind of a weird question. Does that mean all the spaces up there are leased now?
We still have technically 2 empty rooms up there. So there's still a little under 500 square feet, I believe.
I just guess my concern is getting this
More signs, yeah.
multiple, not the same size signs, kind of.
Well, can I add something? Deborah is, getting a bigger sign. We both.
The other tenant?
Yes. So we, both discussed the same. She was complaining that her sign isn't visible from the road because it's too small and there's pine trees that kind of cover it. So we went out there and just kind of measured, and I just told her, I said, let's decide on a sign because she's dropping LLC from her business, so she's getting a new sign, I think, in January. So
Okay,
that's, I
So that-
discussed with her.
thank you
And
for
it would
sharing
be,
that.
it looks weird right now, but when, in January, when she gets hers, there would be an in line, if that
Thank
makes
you.
sense.
Thank
So
you.
it wouldn't be like fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we would, as the leaseholder, we would have some ability to say your signs have to be a proportional
Yes.
size.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know if that size is gonna be big enough, that's just kind of what we came up with the measuring tape, because hers is 12, I think it's 12 by 24. So we kind of just went off of going for hers to be able to see it from the road. So that's what we came up with. If you guys want it smaller or bigger, we're open for that. That's just kind of what we threw out, because she wanted to go bigger.
It's 22 by 40.
and it's the, I'm sorry, what's the material again?
It's the Dibond panel, so it's like a composite kind of material.
With vinyl lettering?
I think it's all just, I think nowadays they just print it straight on.
Straight onto the-
Dibond.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
they don't peel.
It's kind of like a PVC material,
What
but
is
they
thin
just
thin?
print straight onto. Kind of like the, an outdoor version of this town seal where it's just printed straight on.
Straight on.
Okay.
I don't know, I think it's not called screen printing anymore, it's called something different, but it's like not vinyl.
Ding thing, yep.
I was going to make, to your point about the text, I was going to say that they're not as clearly visible from the street, but if that's the intent is to be seen from the street, then, a larger sign would make sense. So this is the largest wall sign you can have?
No,
Okay.
sorry.
Oops.
No, that was just kind of what we were going, we were both talking about like moving them a little closer,
Okay.
but the guy at Fast Signs just lined it like under here, so
Okay.
I'm open to putting it like 3 inches from the edge, if that makes sense, of the building. You know what I mean? So they would all be straight. That's what Deborah and I were talking about, is like, so they're all like in line, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But, I mean, that's, if you guys want it bigger, smaller, whatever, that's just kind of what we threw out there. I just didn't know.
What are they allowed, Emily?
12 square feet, so 36 by 48.
So they are within.
Slightly bigger.
So they're within.
Absolutely.
Okay. I make a motion to approve zoning permit 2019-033 for Stronger Fitness LLC for their sign to match the illustrations on packet page 63.
Second?
Got a motion and second. Last chance for discussion. Put it up for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Good
I
luck.
just have a question. Do you guys want me to like move it closer to the left?
You can get with
Okay,
our leasing agent, and he will,
okay.
he'll help you with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for waiting. I know that took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Okay, our next applicant to keep things moving is the Haymarket Hotel Group. They're back this month. Last month, we asked them to look at the interior parking light fixtures. I also revised the signage package, including the monument sign. So on package page 67, you'll have the 3 items we asked them to address, and then we have the status and/or resolution. So with that, I'm going to call them up to the podium to answer any questions, They've provided very detailed images of the light. I do believe everyone has a color copy of the packet. If you don't, let me know, and we'll get you the pictures.
I had asked Emily when we were preparing for the meeting about the photometric plan is how many that they needed. Obviously, you don't more lights than what you needed. So she does have the site plan, and that was fine. The other question I'd come up, not being here last month, the question I'd asked was about the Acorn lighting, and that you do intend to wrap the Acorn lighting around the Jefferson Street
Yes.
facade. The other question was what to do with Fayette, whether or not there would be a requirement to do the Acorn lighting or street lighting along that, or do brick sidewalks. So the only purpose of saying, do we need to add that so that the applicant, if they are through the site plan process needing to put street lighting on Fayette, then it's the Acorn style. So it's more of just saving you a step of having to come back.
On all streetscapes that are required, we'll continue to Acorn lighting.
Okay. And then, probably not part of this application, but one suggestion, look at the lighting plan, was having a light, if you would want to have a light, one of your interior parking lot lighting by the entrance you have off of Fayette, just to make sure that that's lit. But if there's an Acorn light on Fayette, then I think that does the same thing. Yep. I'm sorry.
No, go.
Yes. Did you miss me last month?
Not really, but it's fine.
Love you too, Sue. Okay, page 10 of our design guidelines. The lighting, freestanding posts, all exterior lighting schemes shall be pre-planned. This meets that requirement. Town lighting located on Washington Street shall be in accordance with the streetscape plan, which it will be. Freestanding posts shall be compatible with the prevailing and recognized historical character of the town. From what I read, this is a more
This is
traditional
much
feature.
better.
This is
Thank
much
you.
better.
Utilize an incandescent
I
lighting
agree.
source. If a more intense light source is needed, metal halide or equivalent. I think these are LEDs, correct?
Correct.
And they'll be shielded and downly lit. So
Yep.
as much as I like the Acorn lighting along Washington Street, it's like a landing strip. So
It is. It
the
is.
more we can reduce light pollution, which is part of this, shall not, freestanding light shall not exceed 16 feet in height. What are the heights of the,
Currently proposed 20, I think, in the photometric.
okay. Do we need to give a concession to that, Emily, do you think?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And with my understanding, so the lights we have, the Acorn lights outside are 14,
I do believe so.
14, 15 feet?
It's between 14 and 16.
You go higher, you need less poles.
I think, sorry to interrupt you, I think the pole itself is 14, and the globes, even though they don't look it, are actually 2 feet in
Yeah.
height. They are
I think
quite
that sounds
large,
right.
Okay.
Making them a grand total of 16.
Okay. So 20 feet would be the top of the fixture. To me,
They were, last month, when the architect was here and doing the design, she was talking about safety and, for their customers to be outside, so they wanted
For
to have.
their light study required it.
Yeah.
And in addition, some of our other parking lots do have the posts themselves lifted up onto concrete.
the bollards or whatever, yeah. I don't particularly have an issue with it, just to me, fewer, taller lights and means fewer posts, and with the directional lighting down, it'll presence, and then the parking's not right up on Washington Street.
Correct.
It's going to be off of Fayette and those other streets, so I think in this instance, it would be appropriate to allow the higher height. Freestanding lights shall be directed downward onto the site, and lights shall be not materially project on adjoining properties. It meets that. The illumination plan has it like at, 2-foot candles around the perimeter. Combination of freestanding and wall-mounted fixtures is recommended in order to yield variety levels of lighting. We have the mounted lighting fixtures on here as well, right? So I think it meets it.
I was very happy when I saw these.
We love them too. I think that they're a good fit.
Yeah, they are a good fit.
Oh, yeah, and
Or, I
even,
mean, those
even they
circular
added-
ones, they weren't.
The flying saucers.
I
yeah.
like them a lot, but they definitely didn't fit.
even they added detail on the base of the pole.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. I guess I got a question. The wall-mounted lights, I'm assuming that the picture here, these are for the top signs?
Correct.
And the more modern style, I forget where that was.
Which one?
Page 83.
Yeah, it's got here, the single adjustable floodlight, those will be for where the awning comes out on the first floor, right? Yeah, I think they look good. And I'm assuming that the silver
It's all powder.
picture that we have here will be a bronze powder coat?
It'll match the black.
Yeah,
The rest of
yeah.
it is, it'll be powder coated black.
There's
Yeah,
a
just-
color thing on here.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify that.
This is just a technical thing, so it looks like you approved pages 81 and 82 were the old elevations, and then 80 and 79 are the ones that we're looking at, correct? You had included them as an example, or no?
I think 81 is also accurate.
The only change on the parapet signage was we went from 24 inch to 18 inch. So that was
Right.
the only change on the elevation.
I'm sorry, I was thinking, this feature you had, I think, amended on page 80?
Oh, that 5-foot section up there?
Yeah, I see the section in the back, I think you guys had amended it to wrap around, right? So that was
Yes.
just, okay.
Yes, you're right, Marshawn.
And if I could just clarify one thing for the record. Last meeting, we did have a discussion on could the sign be placed at the top of the building at the parapet? There was some question on the ordinance that it was only allowed 15 feet above ground level. It is actually 15 feet above the floor level in which the sign is placed. So as long as it is not more than 15 feet above the fourth floor level. So just to clarify for everyone.
That's taken
So we have a total, we have a sign on Jefferson Street on the facade. We have on the canopy to the entrance on Jefferson. Right? Okay, and then we have on Washington Street, we have one on the top near the parapet, and then we also have one on the corner canopy.
Correct.
So that's 4, and then another one on the western facade,
there.
also on the parapet, okay. So a total of 5 signs.
Yeah.
And then the monument sign is going to be on Fayette Street. Okay.
Is there no,
Placement, there's no placement on the monument sign?
no, that's not what I was gonna say.
I also had another question.
No, go.
Okay, did you guys remove the projecting signs that come out of the building?
Correct.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
the canopy, it's still raised. The
Still
canopy letters
projects.
that are on the side of the
Okay.
canopy are
Right.
still raised. but-
Okay.
There's no zoning permit attached to this number.
I apologize. It is with the overarching one from last month. I can come up with a new number.
Can
for
you get me a number? Can't make a motion without a number.
Can do.
And then, since the locational map was on the Fayette Street entrance, so if you look at page, oh, I'm sorry, there's the list of all the sign types. Page 87, you're wanting to put it, I'm sorry, this is the layout. You're wanting to put it on the, was it the north side of the entrance or on the south side of the entrance?
So closer towards Washington or closer towards
Yes.
Maine, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's on the Washington portion, or closer to Washington.
Which makes sense.
When you're pulling off, then you see it right away. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And for the monument, we attached 2 color samples. Blue would be the preferred, if it's acceptable with the board, that matches the Hilton branding. There's also a black attached, black and white.
I'm fine.
It looks almost purple. Or is that just me?
It's probably just the printer.
But it looks almost purple to me. But I mean, yeah, it should be fine.
Because I've seen the Hilton
Yeah.
blue color and it's not purple, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have that hue to it,
No,
so
no, it's a blue.
it's very,
It's similar.
Yeah.
More of a
Is there blue on the other signs as well? Does that tie into the other ones? No, the other ones are white.
There is not.
But the red, that flower icon is red, so that matches. I think the relief on the posts for the monument sign, that matches, and then the cap
Yeah.
matches the building. Into external illumination.
Yeah, we went over all that. last
Okay.
time.
The number is 28. 2019.
28.
Thank you for the detailed response letter. That's helpful.
Yeah.
We appreciate the comments. I think that made it a little bit easier to respond to.
I make a motion to approve the amendments to zoning permit 2019-028 for the building signage as well as the exterior lighting, as noted in the packet, page 68, 69, we'll just say 68 through, what's the last page? 87 of the packet for the specifications.
Second.
Okay, you got a motion and second?
Friendly amendment, we will dictate that the lighting fixture is the black, not the silver.
Yes, all the lighting, it's,
I think it's in the page. I think they mentioned it in the,
Description?
Okay.
yeah.
The one schematic had it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the picture was just to show the details of it, and
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that it was bronze.
Oh, okay,
or
never
whatever.
mind. I withdraw that
page
friendly
73.
amendment. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, last chance for questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely lights.
Yeah.
Much nicer. I did like the other ones though, not gonna lie. They were,
Just not for there.
yeah, not for there.
Okay, well, let's get this meeting moving now.
Let's go.
New business. And
So, I do have one thing. When Vice Mayor came on, she had reached out about trying to find an architect as a consultant. So really, I've looked up, there's several different agencies that are within a 10-mile radius, and I just had 3 options that I wanted to reach out to the board and see how you guys felt, and so I can go ahead and move forward. The 3 options is, one, we can try and find an architect that'd be willing to volunteer their time. Unfortunately, you have a volunteer, they don't have any reason to show up if traffic's bad, kids are sick, whatever, so they can leave. So we can try, but that's one option. Another option is to try and get a paid consultant, try and look for about like hourly rate, see if they can come to meetings or be available for questions. One thing that I talked to Vice Mayor about is this is also somebody that if we had a paid consultant, they would be able to come and help and provide their input on certain things. If in the future, which we will for several different items, whether it's the gateways to town or signs for parks or things like that, if they have experience working with the ARB, hopefully they can understand where you guys are coming from and develop signs and architectural features in the way that ARB wants it to go. And then the third option would be if we change the bylaws, which would be, well, the bylaws as well as the zoning text amendment to allow them to be a voting member. So that way they would be allowed to be on the board if they were not a town resident, just because I know we had an issue with that previously. But those are the 3 options. And really I'm just looking for guidance from you all of what you would want.
Well, for me, when it comes to the money on whether they're paid or volunteers, that's kind of outside my purview. That's more of a town council question. But I do feel we do need representation of someone who's trained on architectural styling and to assist us, since we're just trained in other facets of life, whether we're engineers, architects, or whatever, right? So.
And I'll share what I shared with Chris earlier when we were discussing this, for him to talk about it tonight. again, I agree with Ken, I think we need somebody, and I would go for, I think we can come up with the money. I don't think that that's an issue. I think it's important now with all the stuff that's going on that we have somebody here. And I personally would be against them having voting. To me, I would think they would just be an advisor to us to give us information. That's just my personal opinion, but,
And that's a question I'd ask for all of you. For me, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with option
If they're
2.
going to be a consultant, they're strictly there to guide us.
right.
Just the ability to advise and counsel, not to vote.
Right.
I think initially when John, we had a similar thing where John was asked to be a part of it, and originally he was not a voting member, and then subsequently was giving voting rights, and I think that had to do with maybe the few number of members that they had on it. When I was in Middleburg, Bill Tenor, who I think is the chairman now, he owns a business in town, so I guess that gave him some standing with which to, he didn't live in town, but he was in
Right.
town. I think the benefits of the architecture is give us the vocabulary. A lot of us, when we look at something, we can have someone to translate that into a vocabulary that we can then engage architects with. I mean, hopefully we'd have a volunteer that maybe gets paid the same rate we do. Or that hourly rate. I think that's fine. I think we already have in there that one of the architects, if we find someone in town that is an architect, we solicit that as whether or not a member outside.
It has to be a town resident at this point.
At this point, okay.
And we can advertise that as an option, in the interim.
Yeah. I can't remember, what was our line item in our budget right now? Do we have any? No? Okay.
So with it not being a full ARB, there's
Some wiggle room.
some things that we would be able to do, so this would probably be a position that, wouldn't be fully effective until later this year or next budget season, but I think that it would give us time to also find someone who not only is an architect, but also has some experience with history in this area, so.
Specialized kind of thing? Well, that would be helpful too, having a historian with them.
And maybe, Chris and I talked about getting like a junior member of a firm or something, so it's not quite as expensive, Good for them to get the experience, good for us, because it's less, so.
And also, just to speak to that point is, if it's one sign application, that may not be something that they come for an hour
Right.
meeting. But if it's a heavy meeting or something that we would need architecture comments on, that would be the meeting that they come. So even if, it would be a mitigatable price, so.
Kind of like Martin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I kind of miss Martin. Where's Martin?
I know. Okay,
So just looking for consensus on reaching out.
I think option 2 is probably,
Yeah.
everybody's.
Option 2? Do you know official vote or straw vote or?
No, I mean, as long as I've got the option in this way, what I'll do is I'll start reaching out and identifying average hourly rates and things like that. So then when I go to council to discuss it, then I can kind of say that with a ARB's blessing that, this is what I looked at and this is the budget impact and some things that we may need to move around if we want to get it sooner or later. So this should be enough for me to start going forward.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. While he's doing this, can he do I wasn't at the last town council meeting, so just either you or Emily, I guess Chris can do the town council update.
Let me ask you a question about the position.
Yes.
This architecture will also work with the planning commission, right, or advise the planning commission?
Don't know that.
It will be used just exclusively to us?
Yeah.
Architecture is more of the aesthetic and the look.
Okay.
So Emily and the town engineer are more the
Okay.
consultants for the planning commission, and then all of staff as a whole, including the town attorney, are consultants for the town council. So right now, I think an architect, that if we can find the right one that fits, it would just be the consultant.
Just
for
the
everything.
hours.
And we are not looking about a senior architecture, just a junior entry or an internship type?
Exactly. Like I said, I think it'd be a mitigatable price, nothing out of the question or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, like I said this is also something that, we can always turn to them as well, because we're so small that if we wanted to work on a gateway sign,
We could
if they've
utilize
been
them
to
for that.
15 meetings and discussing things and what ARB likes about certain signs, and not, hopefully they would be able to come up with the best gateway sign. of any other
Paying a
sign.
separate consultant, they could,
Yes.
that's the skill set that can, okay, I see what you're saying.
And that's where if it's a paid consultant, it's, it's the same thing, like if we need engineering services, Christopher Consultant, who's the town engineer, we reach out to them to provide those services the majority of the time.
Yeah.
So just things like that I think would be a pretty good partnership, and, if you get an architect that has heard the discussion and understands where you all are coming from, we may be able to get better services, first time opposed to fifth time, or, and that just saves us money in the long run. So.
Gives Emily some relief.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to mention that entry level would be good for anybody who is just, has some background training with a, period, architectural periods and stuff like that, but reaching out for like this sign consultant type of deal, that would probably be more towards a mid-level person, someone that has some background and
we
has
don't want-
experience
yes.
Working with these
Yes.
type of vendors.
Yeah.
And at the same point, what I would probably look at is if the junior level versus the senior level partner is only a 10% difference, then maybe we would go to the senior level person,
Yeah.
or something like that. So that's something that I just can't speak to at this moment, just because until I
It's too premature.
exactly
We have
until I
to,
reach out and kind of make the contacts and see what quotes they can provide, I'm just not going into that yet.
Let's see, on-call services, probably like we have with Martin, where they dictate who gets what, based on the per hour rate, right?
Or who's
Yeah.
more experienced with historical versus who's more experienced with landscaping or house or commercial. So I'm sure some of these firms some are big, some are small. It's just within 10 miles, because I think if we're going to get somebody, you need it to be relatively close to
Makes
kind of
sense.
get here as well as understand the surroundings. So, and then just speaking to the town council meeting, we welcome Kim, the new clerk. So she will be here and in the front office. If you guys want to come say hello, she'll be here. Some of the other things we discussed. Pull this up because I'm going to forget something. We directed Planning Commission to start working on the comprehensive plan. Just something that's been out of date. If you guys look at the comprehensive plan, the dates was 2018 to 2013. So Emily and I are going to start working on some of the things and move forward with that. We had some budget appropriations for public safety. Chief raised a bunch of money, got sponsorships for the breast cancer walk, so we just had to incorporate that into the budget. And then we approved the town calendar for 2020, so dates that we're going to be closed, state holidays, when we're going to have meetings, when you all have meetings, which you have no conflicts, it's just going to continue to be third Wednesday of the month. And we did get a new planning commissioner, Miss Pearl Carter Bush. So she is from Green Hill Crossing, and she is a retired clerk from Prince William County General District and Juvenile Court. She worked in both for a little while. So she retired about 10 months ago, and she said she was just sitting around, so she wanted to come out and help. So
she's lived here a long time, over 20 years,
Exactly.
so.
But yeah, so she joined the planning commission, and that was pretty much the meeting.
Anybody have any questions?
Just a couple. The house in progress. I noticed, I guess, after we told them to come in for a permit, they kind of abandoned the project, or was part of okay.
Yes, so I went and spoke with them, we had some discussions. I do not know the current standing of what is going on. They were there painting it, and we had discussions. They continued painting that week, and then I have not seen them since. So I don't think the weather got too cold for them to stop painting. I noticed the paint's all under the deck right now. I'll follow up with the property owner and see where we're at. I did see, though, that, I don't know if any of you guys noticed, sometimes it's hard to notice, but Madison Corner Shops got a new facelift. So it looks a lot better, not a lot of peeling paint anymore. So they did get that property taken care of, but that was a different contractor. So I'll reach back out and see what the other one's doing.
So do you think that the gray is probably not so much the issue? It's because gray is kind of the color that's already on it.
Right.
It's the roof that we would probably.
Right, and
okay.
so when I mentioned that the board could, and maybe was interested in having the roof color changed, property owner was very upset to hear that and shared with me how much money she had just spent on it. So I think our next course of action, if the board wants to see it changed, would be going through violations and doing fine letters to follow up in a formal matter.
And by the time that happens, the roof will have faded and.
Is that something that you would like, is that something that you guys want me, are interested in taking back to the council to, you know, have Emily?
I tell you, the red color, especially that hue, is very shocking. I mean, it doesn't look cute or appealing. It's very shocking.
So,
I hate to see all that scrape. Now the wood's up, they've scraped it all and it's done, so it's a matter of just finishing that. I mean, if we can encourage them to do that, that's fine. To me, that should be the priority. Maybe to see if you can reach out. I guess you've not been successful in getting a hold of her. She's typically out of the country, isn't she?
Yeah.
So, do we?
Thing is that she's out of the country, she doesn't have to, she doesn't see her building.
right.
Yeah.
We do every day, 3 or 4
I mean, the
times.
point is that according to our guidelines and our bylaws, that if you change the color, you are to come to the ARB and do it, especially being
Apply for a
that
permit.
building is historic. I mean,
Yes.
it's over the age
Yes.
for that. So, I mean, I think we need to treat everybody equally. If we're gonna give these other people violation letters, I think that's my opinion.
Totally fair.
Okay.
This is a violation for not having the right color, for not applying for the color change.
Yes.
For the roof. I don't think we necessarily have an issue with the perimeter of it being repainted because it was already gray, just a faded
No,
gray for time.
and you don't have to, if you're gonna do the same color, you don't have to apply.
Okay.
But the roof was not the same color.
The roof was like a gray, like a concrete gray.
So if you don't mind, Councilwoman, us taking that to the council, and then December 2nd, having the council provide the directive, I would be more than happy to take care of that. And then, just in case they happen to start painting tomorrow, and you see that they paint the trim white, that was what was told to me, that it was originally white, they wanted to go back with white, and then the house be gray, the roof be red. So, I tried to find old photos of it and I couldn't. I know it was a lighter color. I don't know that it was truly white, but when I looked at the old paint, it was dirty. It's a version of white, if you will.
Yeah,
It's right
like-
there.
Like an off-white,
Yeah.
white trim
More
around
like a
it.
cream color.
So
And then the standing seams.
Yeah. So if it just happens to be painted, soon, there was that discussion that the trim was one color and they're going back with the closest they could match.
Remind me the name of that property.
We usually refer to it as the Pardo
That's what I,
house. It's 14885, I believe.
14885.
I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag. It was encouraging that they were at least putting some money into it to stabilize
Yes.
it, and that when they started painting the front gray, I'm like, that's going to be great. It's going to seal it. It's going to at least try to, especially with what's going on next door. So hopefully they'll be encouraged to finish before the weather gets too bad. I'm concerned now that it's all scraped, the weather's getting in there.
Yeah.
So this is great to be able to use, by the way.
Helpful. Okay, so I'll take that to council so Emily can get a directive.
The lighting, do you need us at some point to weigh in on the playground lighting? Is that still an ongoing discussion?
Real quick before we jump to
Okay.
that, I do believe Chris has something he'd like to share regarding the previous.
So, we just went to Prince William County Board of Supervisors meeting, and if you all don't know, we passed the property maintenance code. So then their Public Works would be able to come in, and what that basically means is certain properties that are not up to the current code and certain things that need to be addressed. It's a complaint-based program, so if someone were to call Prince William County Public Works to complain about a certain property, then they will come out and inspect the property and basically let provide the owner with updates that need to be made. And as we were discussing that certain property, there may be things that come out with that they need to address, not only just paint color and things like that. But that is also something moving forward that if they were to ever condemn a property or things like that, then that will affect the ARB when it comes to what the plans are for future developments of properties or revitalizing them or something like that. So I know that I haven't been here for many of those discussions, and I just wanted that to be known that with the county having the property maintenance code, if they come in to inspect certain places, even if they are, you know, the 50 years and historical and things like that, if it's, you know, this health, safety, and welfare of the citizens are going to be the primary function of them, and if it's not a safe building to be in to even revitalize it, that's going to dictate some things.
I'm just going to say a little note that just because a building is structurally condemned does not mean it can't be rehabbed into a functional building.
100%. I just want it to be known that with that is just an extra agent or an extra factor that could be involved in some of these decisions, that there are certain, like she said, you can't have condemned for you can't live here, you have some that you can't walk in here anymore. So that's just another factor that when these decisions are being made about certain properties, that it could come up, and I just want you guys to know before it falls in your lap, we gotta make a decision, and then Prince William County has already provided a report, and you guys just were caught off guard. So.
Appreciate that. The reason why Ms. Edwards brought that, there was a statement before that, you know, if the building inspector comes in and condemns it, automatically, there's nothing the ARB can do. So I think that's where we were clarifying that, yeah, condemnation does not automatically mean the building has to come down. But I think you're right, an active approach to that will hopefully get the attention of some folks to address the blight, so.
Hopefully we'll never get to the point
Yeah.
it has to be condemned because, you know, certain things we can take care of. But
Cool. Thanks for getting it done. It'll be nice to have that tool.
Sorry, we kind of went off the
Yes,
rails
right.
there, Ken.
Oh.
Park lighting, I do believe right now we're kind of trying to still explore a couple more options with the contractor. So as of this very moment, we don't have anything yet for you guys to weigh in on, but we'll bring all the options to you when the time does come.
I listened to those discussions, and I remember you brought up at one point, there's a light pole out there, or a power pole. Couldn't you just put a gooseneck?
I tried to bring up that option.
Yeah. With the one, so when in the hedgerow, in the wood row between the two
Yes.
properties, that doesn't have any power.
I think some of the concern there was that if we did it up there, would it, you know, get lost in the trees? Does it provide too much light straight into the houses? So we're trying to determine, is it something lower down, that's a
Okay.
motion sensor? Do we need it there all the time? Like right now, for instance, I went over to Gainesville before the meeting and came back, it's pitch black dark. There really shouldn't be anybody up there playing. It's really more of just an officer or a resident, somebody could drive by and see, is there activity going on at the park? So there was also a discussion of, if we light it, does that encourage additional activity to be occurring
When it's supposed to
when
be
it's not
closed.
Closed
supposed
at
to
dark.
be
Yeah.
open to the public? So,
But it is like,
Close at dusk, I mean, there is a
Right.
little
yeah,
sign.
but for like
Park.
safety, like if the police are patrolling there needs to be some kind of motion sensor that would come on and
some
alert
identifier
someone
to
to, yeah.
use.
I
So
like the
we're still
lighting.
debating the whole
Good to see.
discussion. We are, it's not done yet.
You may laugh, this coming from me, but I think we're overthinking it.
Yes, it is.
We're overthinking it. There's a pole up there, put a fixture on it, put a motion sensor on it, we're done,
I think
until the
so.
park plan comes in.
If I may, I think part of the overthinking is we are, as the town, trying to be considerate to some of the property owners
Mhm.
right there and their concerns, because, you know, there are very nice new houses with very large windows on their second floor that, you know, that would get a lot of light in them.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to
Called
explore.
blinds.
We're trying
I
to
was thinking just
explore all
a, you
the
know,
options.
a shielded fixture like you see, I mean, right out here.
Yeah.
We have right above the door. That new fixture that went in that I don't think we looked at. But in Oceanstown, it's very simple. I could see that if you cut the debris back, you know, okay, wind's blowing, tree branches set it off. You're right, if I'm in that house all night long, I don't want a blinking light on and on and on and on. So just, anyway. Peanut gallery. Thanks for that.
You're right, where everyone's over, it is. It's-
We're a democracy, right? We're deliberate in our efforts. Mr. Chairman, that's all I had for questions.
Okay, any more questions? We'll move on. Any old business we need to address?
No, I think we got old business, council update.
Yeah, documents on Google Docs.
Planning commission,
or
pretty much
anything
you
that
got
need to be touched.
there as well.
Send me that.
The planning commission update pretty much happened along with the town council update as well. There was really nothing new on the last meeting. It was a
It's
record,
just Monday, right?
yeah, it was a record-breaking meeting. It was 40 minutes, we were out.
Okay, hold on, let me close old business. Old business is closed, we're now on planning commission, so.
But, I mean, yeah, it was a quick meeting, basically, same updates. We got the directive from the town council for the comprehensive plan, and then we met Pearl, and that was pretty much it. And then just some calendar stuff that we had to fix up for our, yeah, so, nothing crazy.
I did talk to Ken about when, I guess, once you guys make your draft recommendations on the historic chapter, that we, as a group, review those recommended changes and provide any feedback. So,
Okay, and we kind of bumped ahead, well, I guess before I said, any questions for Ayush? Okay, we'll move on then. We kind of already had town council updates, since it was rolled in with the planning commission new business, or the town planner new business. That only leaves one thing left.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I said 8:30, 8:35.
It's pretty good.
Getting
7
better.
minutes off.
Getting better.
6 minutes off.